Because I know charity is your passion, and
the war on terrorism.
Plus, what you should expect if you plan to travel for the Thanksgiving holiday.
We will see you back here at 6 o'clock. Right now, here's Nightly News.
Endgame. With the Taliban on the run, who will run Afghanistan now? Plus those 4 journalists killed, many injured. What it's really like on the most dangerous assignment in the world. 'Tis the season, but not on Pennsylvania Avenue this year. Why the White House will be off limits to the public this Christmas. In the blink of an eye, a little girl follows a stranger out of a mall and ends up dead. Every parent's fear, and it's all too real. And in depth tonight, the getaway. How would you feel if someone in your family is a flight attendant these days? How their lives have changed in the skies over America.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Tonight, the United States is moving hundreds of Marines into position. It is waving around millions of dollars, and American Special Operation Forces are intensifying their hunt in the south of Afghanistan for Osama bin Laden. The operation, of course, will not be a complete success until he is captured or killed. But so much of Afghanistan now has been liberated that next week in Berlin, various anti-Taliban factions will meet to begin the difficult process of deciding who runs Afghanistan next. However, as NBC's Jim Miklashevsky reports tonight from the Pentagon, armies on both sides tonight are squaring off for a final showdown in the north. Jim?
Tom, surrender talks are underway in Afghanistan tonight, but officials here at the Pentagon predict they'll soon collapse into bloody battle and a fierce finale to the war. Outside Kunduz today, rebel troops take a break from the war. The Northern Alliance has given the Taliban troops dug into the city 3 days to surrender or die, setting the stage for a potential bloodbath.
We'll assume that they wish to continue to fight, and therefore the opposition forces are staying engaged there, and we're supporting that with airstrikes.
Talks also underway at Kandahar in the south, where Taliban leader Mullah Omar is believed to be hiding. U.S. officials predict Omar will fight to the death. Whatever the outcome, Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld wants all Taliban troops either captured or killed.
If those folks were set free and in any way allowed to go to another country and cause the same kind of terrorist acts, it would be most unfortunate.
The U.S. is also stepping up its campaign to hunt down Osama bin Laden. American bombers hit more caves and tunnels. Military planes dropping leaflets today. Wanted posters announcing a $25 million bounty for bin Laden and his top deputy, al-Zawahiri. And for the first time, a brand new unmanned drone, the Global Hawk, which can see for miles and eavesdrop on radio conversations patrolling over Afghanistan. But bin Laden remains on the loose.
If we had specific intelligence that would tell us where he is at, we'd have him. If we knew he had been killed, we'd be able to produce that.
By the end of the week, some 1,500 U.S. Marines could join the hunt. And in case bin Laden slips out of the country, the U.S. Navy is prepared to stop and search ships sailing out of Pakistan. The Pentagon is also preparing to take possible prisoners from bin Laden's al-Qaeda network, considering U.S. territories in the Pacific for detention centers and as potential sites for those controversial military tribunals. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's Jim Miklashevsky tonight. In Afghanistan today, the bodies of 4 journalists murdered when their convoy was ambushed on the road to Kabul. Those bodies were recovered. Their deaths are a fresh reminder that for all of the Allied victories, it remains a very dangerous place. As NBC's Jim Maseda reports from Kabul tonight, the war zone is the most hostile place in the world at the moment.
Today, Afghans continue to flee the fighting and U.S. bombs. UN officials estimate that over 5 million, a quarter of the population, now live in squalid camps far from their homes. Over 100,000 crammed into this camp alone in Kandahar, Afghans young and old with no food. And with the Taliban still in control here, no chance of international aid. Mohammed arrived 10 days ago and still hasn't found a tent. Americans bombed every night, he says. 3 of my family members were killed. But tonight there is new hope for peace. A UN-sponsored summit of Afghan factions next Monday, the first move towards a broad-based government. The news came as a relief to many Afghans who recall with horror the 50,000 civilians who died in ethnic fighting the last time the Northern Alliance ruled in Kabul in the mid-1990s. I've lost a young daughter in this war, says this father, speaking for many Afghans. All I want is peace. And those who cover this war have also paid a high price. Today, the bodies of 4 journalists were identified by colleagues, 2 from Reuters news agency, as well as a Spanish and an Italian correspondent, killed in an ambush as they drove in a convoy along this road to Kabul. So far, 7 reporters have died in this war, 3 killed by Taliban gunfire in a key battle last week in northern Afghanistan, where this happened.
Oh, wow, that was close. All right, boy. Hit.
One shell wounding an American photographer for National Geographic.
You okay?
No.
Hit that. All right.
But the threat here isn't only on the battlefield. Road conditions are so poor, our Jeep tipped over trying to clear a high mountain pass.
And everything in the Jeep tipped over on top of us as well.
We even found an unexploded U.S. bomb in our rented house, though the Taliban never lived here. And there's a risk that the chaos will spread with security only in the capital. The Northern Alliance is reportedly threatening to keep foreigners locked up in Kabul for their own protection. Jim Nasada, NBC News, Kabul.
Nonetheless, there were some signs of hope today in the Afghan capital. Hundreds of women gathered there to quietly demand rights denied them by the Taliban, like the right to work and to go to school. Most of the demonstrators underscored the new realities in Afghanistan by not wearing the head-to-toe burqa forced on women by the Taliban. Back in this country, Connecticut's governor tonight says that an elderly woman in that state has tested positive in preliminary tests for inhalation anthrax. That's the most dangerous form. She is in serious condition tonight. However, conclusive tests from the CDC still are pending in that case. Meanwhile, in Washington, the war on terror has prompted the White House to cancel some holiday traditions. That, in turn, has angered Washington, D.C. officials who are struggling to recover from the sharp economic fall-off after September 11th. NBC's Campbell Brown tonight is at the White House.
Since September 11th, the People's House has been a fortress under heightened Secret Service protection. Access to the grounds is strictly limited. Barricades block nearby streets once open to traffic. And the latest casualties, Washington holiday traditions. The public lighting of the National Christmas tree this year is only open to ticket holders. And callers inquiring about a holiday White House visit now hear this.
Tours to the White House have been suspended until further notice.
On just an average day, as many as 3,000 people would line up here for public tours. During the holidays, thousands more would make a special trip to Washington to see the elaborate decorations inside. The decorations are still going up, but only for invited guests. The decision is based on a recommendation from the Secret Service, and today the president said he regrets keeping the public out, but had little choice, given the White House is still under threat.
Evil knows no holiday. These extraordinary times, we're taking extraordinary measures.
But this is the same president who in these ads encouraged Americans to return to their normal lives. And these extraordinary measures, local officials say, are hurting tourism. The attacks dealt a devastating blow to Washington's economy with the closing of National Airport. 24,000 people here are expected to lose their jobs. Just this week, city officials brought in the stars of the West Wing to shoot a new ad campaign to encourage tourists to come back. And today, those same officials accuse the real West Wing of sending a mixed message.
It's a megaphone with one message: stay away. They don't mean it, but that's what it says.
Today, administration officials say the decision is final. As long as the White House is a potential target, the People's House is closed to the public. Campbell Brown, NBC News, the White House.
Also today, President Bush announced that the government will give more than $1 billion in grants to neighborhood groups that help the homeless. He urged all Americans to give to charity this holiday season. The president today also attended a ceremony renaming the headquarters of the Justice Department to honor former Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, a well-known Democrat, of course. Robert Kennedy's widow, Ethel, and other family members attended the ceremonies. Up next, NBC News in Depth tonight. getting away, the extra stress of holiday travel this season for millions of families, for thousands of flight attendants who are suddenly faced with a job they never expected.
Yeah, put Junior to bed, stay up late, watch a movie, little snuggling possibly. But look what happens, a lack of snuggling. If only you had TiVo, you could have recorded the entire thing and watched it when you were, well, awake. Automatically record your favorite movies, watch them whenever you want. Now TV fits into your life, not the other way around. TiVo, TV and movie watching your way.
What should you do if you're having a heart attack? First, call an ambulance, then take Bayer aspirin. Now aspirin may help stop you from dying when taken during a heart attack. Talk to your doctor now. Bayer, take it for pain, take it for life.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today.
Should have used Preparation H.
Preparation H medicated wipes with aloe, the easy way to cleanse, cool, and soothe. Easier because they're 4 times bigger than Tux pads. Preparation H medicated wipes, big relief.
Don't get that, Frank.
Hello? Baxter!
Crunchy Meow Mix seafood middles. Mackerel and tuna flavors make it taste so good. Cats ask for it. By name.
When that pastrami on rye catches up with me, heartburn big time. My passenger says, here, take a Zantac 75. I say, what are you, a doctor? And he says, yeah.
Zantac 75, the heartburn relief doctors trust. Just when it seems like life couldn't get any better, your whole world can turn upside down. But if you're a Farmers Insurance customer, you can call our new Help Point service the moment it happens. We can answer the questions you can't. Farmers Help Point is here to care and really take care when you need it most. Farmers, get you back where you belong.
On a very special Dateline Friday, a beautiful little girl running out of time. In desperation, her dad gives her his liver, then Grandma donates her kidney.
I'm giving her life again.
A story of hope and thanksgiving, the miracle of baby Bella. Dateline Friday, 9/8 Central on NBC.
NBC News in depth tonight, the getaway of the 30 million Americans traveling this Thanksgiving holiday. Many more than usual are going this time by car, no surprise. Others have decided not to go anywhere at all. NBC's Robert Hager tonight on the new normal for this year's holiday travel.
This year's somewhat subdued rush is already underway, but another 3 million who'd normally travel for Thanksgiving are expected to stay home this year. Like Samantha Dunyan in New York, for the first time ever, not going back to her parents in Phoenix.
Since September 11th, I just feel that to travel right now, it would just be stressful, and I don't really want to spend the holidays being stressed out.
On campuses as well, thousands of students staying put. Amanda Wolf at Roger Williams University in Rhode Island.
Well, I talked with my mother, and we both agreed that it would be safer for me to remain on campus rather than flying home at this time. We're kind of leery of the airports and what could happen during a major holiday.
Air travel is hardest hit could be off 15 to 30%. Greyhound buses may pick up some of the slack, advanced bookings up 20%, and Amtrak's putting on 40 extra trains. But 9 out of 10 traveling will go by car, which creates its own problems, says the government's new traffic safety czar, Dr. Jeffrey Runge.
Today we are preoccupied by the issue of aviation safety, but in a country where it is 26 times as risky to your life to drive on the highways as it is to fly on a plane, we should be focused on highway safety.
Some police are setting up roadblocks to crack down on the nearly 1/3 of drivers who fail to wear seatbelts, and on a worrisome increase recently in drunk driving. Because of that, the National Safety Council predicts 532 could die on highways between now and Sunday, 35 more than last year. Tomorrow will be the heaviest day outbound, and normally coming back on Sunday is the busiest travel day of the year. But this year, even that may be an exception, as most Americans, still wary, plan to spend Thanksgiving at home. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
And in this time of high anxiety in the skies, how the world has changed for flight attendants. Many of them say they feel like troops in America's war on terror these days. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell tonight continues our in-depth reporting.
Terror's unexpected front line at 35,000 feet. More than 120,000 flight attendants in the U.S. at high risk, high stress.
The last line of defense before the cockpit, to be the human shield. That's a huge responsibility.
Coping with occupational hazards few could have imagined before September 11th. 25 killed that one day. 7 more died when Flight 587 crashed last week. Some crew members telling Congress last Wednesday they feel defenseless.
Is that flight attendants now start each trip by discussing what we can use on the aircraft for weapons. We actually talk about breaking wine bottles to protect ourselves in case of a terrorist attack.
Anxiety felt at home, too. San Francisco-based flight attendant Kathleen Orovic, a single mom to 7-year-old Evan, who fears for her safety.
He said to me, "Mom, I don't want you to go to work because I don't want your airplane to fall out of the sky."
11 years in the air, but now taking new precautions before her 7 cross-country trips a month.
Now, my babysitter and the people that are important to me not only know where I'm going, where I'm laying over, but the exact flight number. And also taking it one step further, preparing a will.
Some question whether the job is worth the risk. Starting salary, just $18,000 a year. The average flight attendant earns $32,000, typically spending 21 days a month away from home. And since September 11th, 3,000 already taking voluntary leave. The Flight Attendants Union likes the screening measures on the ground in the new Aviation Security Act, but wants more protection in the cabin, urging self-defense training and even arming crew members with non-lethal weapons.
Like a stun gun or a taser in the cabin, so that we all have the chance to defend ourselves.
Kathleen Orovic says she's not the same flight attendant anymore, but won't let fear make her quit. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, New York.
Up next, every parent's nightmare. A little girl wanders off in a store tonight. Texas police are looking for a killer. What you can learn from this.
The romance, the beauty, the world of Ralph Lauren. For the holidays, on polo.com, America Online keyword polo.
Wherever there's dirt, there should be a dustbuster. Everything's bustable with the cleaning power of the dustbuster, built by Black & Decker.
Once you pass 50, skincare's a whole new game.
L'Oreal introduces age-perfect anti-sagging and ultra-hydrating treatment.
Because mature skin has issues all its own. It starts to sag, loses resiliency, and needs more moisture.
Age-perfect actually improves skin's resiliency, tightening its network as it deeply rehydrates. So effective, 83% of women reported more resilient skin.
It's a major breakthrough for mature skin.
New age-perfect anti-sagging and ultra-hydrating treatment, only from L'Oreal.
Because you're worth it.
How was your dinner, eh? Oh, heartburn. I've got just what you need.
Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief. Faster than Pepcid AC or even the leading prescription. Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief.
It seems like only yesterday. When I started skating at 8 years old, I never thought I'd experience the thrill of winning a medal. With all the great memories has come another thing I thought I'd never experience, the pain of osteoarthritis.
Vioxx is here, a prescription medicine for osteoarthritis pain. With one little pill a day, Vioxx can provide powerful 24-hour relief. Vioxx specifically targets only the COX-2 enzyme, a key source of arthritis pain. People with allergic reactions such as asthma to aspirin or other arthritis medicines should not take Vioxx. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. For more information, talk to your doctor about once daily Vioxx for the relief of osteoarthritis pain.
Perhaps my biggest victory is to be able to plan my day around my life instead of my pain.
Ask your doctor if Vioxx is right for you. Vioxx for everyday victories.
Tomorrow, Katie, Matt, Al, and Ann take over the kitchen to cook up their favorite recipes. Then outside on the plaza, Barry Manilow swings our holiday concert series, only on Today.
getaway cruises for the holidays. NBC Nightly News tomorrow.
There's a chilling reminder tonight that not all of our worst fears these days involve terrorists and biological weapons. In El Paso, Texas, a young girl was kidnapped this weekend while shopping with her family. She's one of the nearly 360,000 kids abducted in this country every year. The vast majority are taken by family members, and they do survive. But this story is every parent's nightmare. Here's NBC's Jim Cummins.
It's late Sunday afternoon, and security tapes show 5-year-old Alexandra Flores arrives at the Walmart store with her parents. Minutes later, she wanders away from them. About 5:15 p.m., the little girl is seen leaving the store behind a stranger wearing a white baseball cap and a green shirt. At 7 o'clock the next morning, her body is found in a parking lot. Police say she was brutally murdered.
We will not stop until we have exhausted all leads and until we have arrested this individual.
Alexandra's pre-kindergarten classmates don't understand why she is gone now, and neither do her 7 brothers and sisters. Esmeralda is the oldest.
This is horrible what they did to my little sister. And obviously they haven't caught this guy who did this or whoever did this, and he's out there and he might get another victim.
El Paso police did sound an alert for the missing girl using the emergency broadcast system on local radio and TV stations. But they waited at least 2 hours before doing it because they believed the girl was only missing, not kidnapped.
There was no evidence of a kidnapping taking place at that time. Our concern was for the welfare of the child and the safety of the child, and now we had evidence that the child did leave that store.
Experts say if you are going to sound an area-wide media alert for a kidnapped victim, it must be done within minutes, not hours after the abduction. Dee Anderson is a county sheriff in Texas who started such an alert program in the Dallas suburb of Arlington.
The notification needs to be as instantaneous as possible because all of the studies show that every hour that passes after a child is abducted, the chances of recovering that child alive diminish dramatically.
A warning that comes too late for the family of this 5-year-old toddler in El Paso. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Dallas.
I'll be back in a moment.
Ocean Spray is fortified with as much vitamin C as orange juice, so it's good for your whole body. Just leave the juicing to us. Ocean Spray. Crave the wave.
Now, the same Caltrate that helps fight bone loss may help your colon, too. In a recent study, Caltrate helped reduce the risk of recurrence of colon polyps, a risk factor for colon cancer. The same Caltrate you take for your bones, now for colon health, too.
A duke from the 19th century, a woman from the 21st. This Christmas,
I found a crack in the fabric of time.
Worlds will collide. Meg Ryan, Hugh Jackman.
I want more of this, more 1876.
Kate and Leopold, rated PG-13.
Create your own love story, like Kate and Leopold, with a romantic trip to the destination of your choice. Visit BlueMountain.com now for your chance to win.
Mission accomplished.
Hi.
What's for lunch?
Chicken and stars.
Condensed soup? The kids are grown up. We could eat like adults now. There's a better tasting soup. Progresso chicken noodle has tender pieces of all white meat chicken and bigger slices of hearty vegetables with just the right seasonings. See the difference?
Much better.
You're never too old to grow up.
Oh, really?
It's time to go to the better taste of Progresso.
I'll never watch TV instead of doing homework or hide laundry under my bed. I'll be the best dog if you give me what I need.
You've got one chance to raise a healthy puppy. Introducing new Purina One brand large breed puppy formula. Purina has created the first and only puppy foods with a nutrient proven to help reduce the percentage of body fat during growth. So large breed puppies grow lean and healthy. And research shows these puppies need less fat and more love. Purina One, second to none.
Why do I rent from Enterprise? For more cargo room. More people room. Or more headroom. Enterprise, So easy, it's like having a second car. Or third.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Tonight at 6, is the growth of our area headed in the right direction? Find out what you and your neighbors said in an exclusive News Channel 8 public opinion survey. Your neighborhood, your future. Tonight at 6 on News Channel 8, where the news comes first.
Why, I'm loving me some yoga. Next, Oprah.
On Wall Street today, the market lost ground after yesterday's big gains. The Dow fell more than 75 points. NASDAQ was down today almost 54 points. It is one of the most popular and creative commercials on television. You'll know it when you see it. The trouble is, so did two Minnesota pals, baseball buffs, who made a film of their ballpark odyssey. Here's NBC's Bob Fall.
Those Take Me Out to the Ballgame commercials for MasterCard, seen by millions, have won numerous industry awards.
There are some things money can't buy.
Trouble is, Joe Marble and David Hawk, two baseball fans from Minnesota, haven't just seen the ads, they've lived them. 3 years ago, these two grade school friends piled into a battered VW van and drove to 5 major league ballparks, reveling in the experience, just like those two fellows in the commercials.
My first thought was, looks familiar.
Yeah, a lot of similarities.
Like the vehicle in both the documentary and the commercials. It's a white and reddish van. The theme, the ballparks, even some of the camera angles are so similar. The two filmmakers went into federal court this week and complained we was robbed.
If you look at the camera angles, the ballparks they visited, some of the shots, it is absolutely amazing just how similar the documentary and the commercials are.
The ad agency for MasterCard, McCann Erickson, refused today to discuss the situation, but in a written statement insisted the charges are without merit, adding that the idea behind the commercials was arrived at, quote, independently. Madison Avenue insists the case has so little merit, it will be given a quick heave-ho.
Preposterous. They hardly own the idea of going from ballpark to ballpark. I mean, that's a journey as American as loving baseball itself.
Still, two fans from Minnesota are hoping a jury will award them damages and ban the commercials.
It's clearly a David and Goliath battle. We want justice.
This dust-up over baseball might seem like a fly speck against a backdrop of terrorism, anthrax, and the Taliban. But it is perhaps a reminder some rhythms have not been interrupted. Like the old debate, how much can art imitate life? Bob Fall, NBC News, Washington.
Also from the Midwest tonight, it's hard to believe, but it's been 4 years since the family from Iowa made international headlines. The McCoy septuplets are marking their 4th birthday, and tonight, a Dateline NBC News exclusive. A new look at the 7 and their very busy parents. Raising them, Bobby and Kenny McCoy say, is chaotic, fun, and full of surprises, not to mention being very difficult. 2 of the children have cerebral palsy. That's a risk Bobby McCoy knew about prior to giving birth. But she says she never once considered having fewer than all 7 of the children.
For me to take that into my hands, take it out of God's, and say, well, I'm sorry, God, but you just did not know what you were doing. I'm going to take this into my control, and I'll pick how many I want. That's not for me. That is not my choice.
Bobby McCoy from her interview with Ann Curry. Much more on the McCoy septuplets 4 years later tonight on Dateline at 10, 9 Central. That's Nightly News for Tuesday. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you back here tomorrow night.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
Americans look forward to a tour in the White House during this period of time, but we're in extraordinary times.
The threat of terrorism means the White House is off limits during the holidays. Also, traces of anthrax in more Senate offices, and another victim comes down with the disease. Here at home, Oregon's assisted suicide law wins a round in court. Plus, Once only seen in the hundreds, now a salmon success story. The news at 6.